Many wonders of Goldview National Monument. And when Kibby said, "Steve, would you do this?" I'm like, me? Because I'm like the worst photographer here. So maybe in all of Vegas. But in any case, here we go. I love Goldview. My wife and I actually moved to Mesquite specifically for Goldview. I don't know whether to sit down or what to do.
What do I do with my sit down? Just sit down. Yeah, sit down because.
Well, let me, okay, I'll go after this. So I'll start off, and I'm featuring some of my friendly photographers who allow me to use their things. So Sharon, if you want to stand up back there so you can see Sharon. Sharon is out in Goldview. She's out in Goldview more than anybody I know. I'll get up, I'll go have some coffee or a drink and come back, and Sharon's already posted pictures of her and her dogs out in Goldview. So this is the sign. And that sign actually lasted, I think, almost 3 years before it was finally taken down, and now there's a brand new one. I mean, we expected it to be shotgunned like the first day. Okay, I'll sit down. Okay, so my goal today is, okay, whet your appetite for a Goldview photography trip, which we actually have one tomorrow. I don't know who else coming, but certainly be free. How many people knew that, because when I put whet your appetite, it was W-E-T. How many people actually knew it was W-H-E-T? Okay, and this is, Tina's not here today, but this is a picture by Tina Wiley. And that's actually what Gwen and I get to see out of our back window quite a bit. There's always those low clouds during this time. So I say bon appetit. Okay, thank you, Kippy and staff, and thank you, Focus 6 attendees. This will be fun, I hope. And me, let me also say, make this interactive. If anybody has anything to say, please just blurt it right out. Okay. So me, I'm a very amateur photographer. So, shutter speed, f-stop, ISO, rules of thirds, or whatever, that's not happening with me here. Thank you very much. I got Russ back there, he can explain that later, but not me. Okay, I'm retired, which, yay. Okay, live with my wife, Gwen. Gwen, you want to stand up? She's going to be really mad at me. We've been married 46 years, so we lived in Mesquite. And why Mesquite? People must say, why Mesquite? It's not for the restaurants, that's for sure, because they're horrible. We were actually between McAllen, Texas, Ely, and Mesquite, and we heard rumor that President Obama was going to designate Goldview National Monument, and that's what we did. We volunteered at monuments and Fish and Wildlife, so that's why we went to Mesquite. And I volunteer like crazy all over the place, and it's a blast. And like I said, the time rocks. Okay, there's lots of volunteer opportunities in Goldview. If anybody's interested, please let me know. I can point you in the right direction. And this is Conservation Corps putting in new signs. And you might be saying, what the heck are they doing? Well, anything that sticks up that's round like that, and that's they use mine claim markers. They put PVC, probably maybe 6 inches or so. They were up all over the place. Well, birds fly in, and they don't get out. So we've actually taken out mine markers and found hundreds of birds in there. And also I didn't realize bees. Bees get in, and bees can't get out. And I don't know why a bee can't just helicopter out, but they can. So there's a guy named by the name of Jim Boone, and he is really Mr. Goldview. Jim has kind of made it his life's work to knock down those mine markers. So all over the place he goes and knocks them down. Okay. As far as volunteering, there's Friends of Nevada Wilderness, Friends of Goldview, the BLM, a lot of volunteer jobs out there. And the BLM, this is my favorite volunteer job. I'm a Nevada site steward, and that's me working right there. It was really difficult last night. They have actually a Nevada site steward training class on February 29th, if anybody's interested. Yes?
Louder, please.
Louder?
Yeah, Yes.
Okay, sorry.
What's a site steward?
A site steward is for archaeological sites. Okay, you visit it 4 times a year and document it. And there's a state agency and there's some other nonprofits that gather all that information. And they keep their eye on it and we clean it up. We do graffiti removal, which Sue is an expert graffiti removal person. So also volunteer for Northern Arizona University. And they do work with BioCrust, and I put these out there. If anybody wants to find out what BioCrust is, pick one of these up out there. Okay. And Nevada Department of Wildlife has a lot of volunteer opportunities as well. Okay. This summer, Gwen and I will be and our volunteer will be at Helvete Guard Station in Deschutes National Forest, Oregon. And next summer, 2021, we'll be resident volunteers at Hawaii Volcanoes. Pretty excited about that. But you got to pay your own way there. Okay, and now about Gold Butte. I'm sorry, I'm blabbering on here. So President Obama designated Gold Butte a national monument on December 28th, 2016. Okay, it's managed by the Bureau of Land Management, and the office is right here on Torrey Pines. Okay, and yay, they're a national monument. They got no additional budget or staff. So you're looking at the picture, there's 3 of your part-time staff, 1 law enforcement official. Okay. National park versus national monument, anybody know?
One's created by Congress, one's created by the president.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good job.
There you go. Although national monuments can be created by Congress as well. Okay, and that's through the Antiquity Act. Okay, can national monuments grow up to be national parks?
Yes.
Yes, examples, Grand Teton, Death Valley is one, and we dug through our archives and found a picture of our kids, 1989 at Death Valley National Monument. And there's me, Death Valley National Park. Okay, there's 129 national monuments. Really interesting too, the national monuments. But as you can imagine, I had no idea. I thought that when Gold Butte was designated, it was going to be National Park Service. I had no idea the BLM also manages. So 85 by the National Park Service, 28 by the BLM, and I'll roll through here. 1 managed by the U.S. Air Force. I looked that up last night, and that's at Lackland Air Force Base, and it's for bomb dogs, or service dogs. Very interesting. So, who likes Valley of Fire? Of course, everybody likes Valley of Fire. Then you're going to love Gold Butte, I think. Okay, it's Valley of Fire's sister. Okay, as you can see, it's right across from Valley of Fire, right across the Virgin River. Okay, so where is it? You go north or northeast to exit 112. That's Riverside Road. And then it's about 3 miles to the turnoff and about 16 miles from where you turn on to the byway, Gold Butte Byway to Woodley Pockets. And that gets you part way in. Okay, here's a picture of Gold Butte. There's 300,000 acres, over 300 miles of roads. There's a lot of roads. There are 2 designated wilderness areas. And it borders Lake Mead, as you can see. Borders Lake Mead and Grand Canyon Parish National Monument. Okay, photography of Gold Butte. Pros. It's beautiful. Natural sculpted sandstone. There's wildlife, wildflowers, critters, human history, and dark skies. Although I think Michelle's been out there at night with us, Stan. Dark skies are great, except it's right over an air corridor, so it's nothing but planes all night. The cons, like anything in Vegas, summer heat. You need a high clearance or 4-wheel drive. That keeps a lot of people out.
Yeah.
That good?
Yes.
Here's some yays, yeah. Non-people persons like me, no one in there. So, and Sue knows, Sue has all the people in Red Rocks, so. Okay. Limited cell service, like none. And again, summer heat. Everybody quits going to Gold Butte except me and Jim Boone in the summer. And probably Sharon. I'm sure Sharon's always there.
Okay? And here's one of these cartoons. Oh, that's not a photographer cartoon, is it? I had to fill in something. Okay, so what about drones? Kippy's ears are perking up here. What about drones? No drones in National Park. We know that. Okay, drones in BLM national monuments are okay unless posted otherwise. Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong drone. There we are. Now, the exception is designated wilderness areas. In no wilderness areas can you have a drone. I think you can have it, I think the limit's 4,000 feet, so it has to be over 4,000 feet, which I don't think drones fly that high, Kippy. No.
Is there any particular reason for that?
I think, well, for wilderness areas, because it's a wilderness
Well,
area.
for any of them, are they worried about them damaging?
National parks,
Yeah, they worry about damaging.
I don't know it's about damage. I think it's more that people go to a national park to enjoy themselves and don't want to hear.
Yeah, they don't want to hear like a buzzing noise above
Yeah.
their heads and giant dragonfly.
Okay, and got a guy contacted me a couple years ago, Andres from Bonn, Germany. He said, I just got a drone. I'm out here with my family, and will you take me into Gold Beach? So we went to Little Finland, and he just enjoyed the heck out of himself. I took a hike somewhere, but then he sent me his pictures, and they were pretty good. So that's looking straight down at Little Finland. So, and Gold Butte is a cool place to bring your friends, as Sharon back there with her pups. That's Jade and Granite. Okay, and so what is there to photograph in Gold Butte? Now, Russ, I think you were on this trip with me. This guy right here, Kim Colley, he's an interesting fellow. He works for Office Management and Budget in Washington, D.C., lives in Virginia. He rides his bike to work every day. So over the bridge there, I asked him, so what do you do in the wintertime when it gets cold? He said, I wear more clothes. So, and hopefully he's going to be back. He had a really good time. So let's start off with what's there to take pictures of, naturally sculpted sandstone. Recognize this guy? There's Russ. Russ, you want to stand up? But everybody knows you anyway, right?
Not really.
Well, Sharon did.
But I can't curtsy the way she does.
So, and this guy right here is certainly one of my favorite friends. This guy right here, yeah, Russ took a picture of. I think it's excellent. So I love Russ's photography. Okay, this is another friend, Stan. You don't have to stand. I won't make that. So I saw Stan and I thought, oh, that's a really good picture out there. Oh, that's a good picture of Stan too. So I took a picture. Okay, and that's I'm not sure that was the exact picture that Stan was taking, but that's one of Stan's pictures. Okay, that's one of Stan's pictures. Okay, then there's this guy. Okay, and there's a person right there, and there's something else in that picture, and I was like, what's he trying to do? So let me give you all a hint. I guess you had to have been here last year, right? You had to have been at Focus 4. So this is Larry Hanna, and he takes pictures of, because my wife now knows when I go into a grocery store, it's never the same, because I'm always looking at the bread and food to take pictures of. Great work, Larry. Here's some other pictures Larry took, and Larry, I had this one here. I've been looking at that little choya right there for years, and taken probably 100 pictures of it. And Larry's, I think, has the absolute best picture of that choya. I love it, just eking out a living right there. Okay, another one of Larry's shots. Okay, so what's there to take pictures of? There's goblins, there's monsters, there's fins, there's wings, there's more wings, there's a vortex. Teresa's not here today, but that was taken by Teresa Scott. And another but none of us are like that, because we all have real cameras, plus we have cell phones. So here's another Sharon. I like that we were driving down here today, and there's a little bit of haze out, and that's why I like this pictures of Sharon's. It's got some haze in the old corral. So, and plenty of landscape to take pictures of. And sometimes the moon is creepy. And this was one night during a full moon.
I was sleeping nearby somewhere there. Okay. Sometimes goblins eat fireflies. And this picture was totally by accident. But there's a firefly, or a 737, I'm not sure which. But it's, okay. Sometimes goblins eat clouds. And this is the little monster that Russ made famous. And again, I was sleeping. I just can't stop taking enough pictures of that goblin there. Sometimes goblins eat people. Okay, and sometimes you just see strange things. Hey, well, we're all living in the desert now. There's strange stuff in the desert. So how in the heck this cow's backbone ended up on this tree, I'm not sure. So sometimes you reach a dead end. Okay. There's opportunities for artistic license, and bear with me. Huh? Yes, no? Pretty lame, Steve. Here's. So actually, this is one of my favorite things here. I just don't. I mean, that is so cool that that's on that rock. Okay, and there's human history. There's lots and lots of petroglyphs. I guess what they say from 700 to 7,000 years ago. Okay, here's another photo by Sharon. I've taken 100 pictures of these petroglyphs at Little Fenland, which we'll see tomorrow if anybody's going with me. But I like that Sharon put some background to them. I really like them there. Okay, this is a whole bunch of petroglyphs. It's called 21 Goats. Okay, this is newspaper rock.
Can I ask, is this stuff all like, marked with sign markers and
No.
trails, or you gotta know where you're going to find the
You
stuff?
gotta know where you're going.
Okay, cool.
So, but I'll give you I've got a reference on here later on. Okay, this happens to be my favorite petroglyph. I have no idea what it is. Looks like a little armless alien dude.
E.T.
E.T. Yeah, it does look like E.T., doesn't it? And that's my son and his best friend. They were out and we were walking around. That's the Dakota Circus. Okay. One of the things that's really caught my eye of late is that there's a lot of marine life. Okay, and these are, I won't even try to, a product ID brachipod. So California and a lot of this area here, were really dredged up from the sea, as the land was built. So these guys are out there. They're just all over the place. They're great. And I'll show you where they're from. So they were laid down at the latest 252 million years ago. So in the Permian epoch. Okay, just found this the other day, and I don't know if anybody knows Dr. Rowland, geology professor at UNLV. I sent this to him, and he was pretty excited about it because you don't find them that are lengthwise like this. So that's a horn coral. You find a lot of this horn coral, which I assume is cut in half. Okay, relics of days gone by. There was a lot of mining in Old Butte, probably not very successful mining, but there's a lot of junk out there. Yeah, guns don't kill 55-gallon drums. This is shot up pretty good. Okay, and most here see trash. I see research opportunities. Since I now know how to date cans, I can spend hours in there. Well, I can spend minutes in there taking pictures and hours back looking them up. Okay, and actually, here's a can right here. It says same price as 43 years ago, and it's baking powder, and that's from 1933. So, okay, there's pottery. This is the only piece of pottery I've ever found in there. And of course, you know what to do when you find pottery. Put it right back down. It needs to stay there. Relics is going by. Who knows what an arasta is? Okay, thank you. Well, an arasta is, let me go to the next one. An arasta is where they would grind ore. Okay, so you can see they hook a mule, and the mule drags this heavy stone around. they put the ore in there, and that's how they get their gold or lead or whatever else they're doing. But this, I've never seen the rasta like this. It's a single stone, and it's been carved out, so you can see that the rock is actually off to the side. I should have put that in there. The rock would just drag around in that groove, and they would crush ore. So there's a lot of civilian conservation corps structures, and that was in the 30s when they were doing the work at Lake Mead. They were doing a lot. Has anybody been to the Lost City Museum? Up in Overton? Okay. Yeah. So the Civilian Conservation Corps not only was doing a lot of digs around before the lake got up, they were doing a lot of work in Gold Butte. And this, they think this is where they stored food. And there's the dam. That's about the nicest dam they built in there, really nice, great work. Okay. And then there's a bunch of little conservation corps dams. We were trying to figure out, gee, what did they make these for? Maybe so water will back up for cattle. Not sure, but there's a lot of these little dams there. Okay. There's claim markers all over the place. There's more Mormon homesteads. This is the only cabin that I know of in Gold Butte. Okay. And it's a nice little cabin. And they had a spring right by it, although the spring's pretty much down to nothing now. There's two old guys who lived down further at the town site, and they're both buried there. Unfortunately, I think it was Art Coleman, about 2014, somebody decided to dig up his grave, and they kind of desecrated his grave and spread the bones all over. I don't know what they were looking for. Maybe they thought it was gold or buried, or they were known to make moonshine, so maybe they thought some moonshine was buried with them. But in any case, the Paiutes came and collected his bones and then went back out there and reburied him. So, and there's Art Coleman and Bill Garrett. Not very good pictures, but these were the best I could get out of the library. Okay. And at the town site, there was, and this, the Arasta was also back in here. The town site, I think, had about 3,000 people living there one time. It even had a post office for a year and a half. And I thought you guys might enjoy this. Because photographers don't get paid, everything's free. Right. There is flora, okay, if you pick the right time of year. Okay, and we had we kind of had a super bloom last year of California poppies. That's a California poppy. There's coyote melon. And that was the super bloom last year. They were all over the place. It was beautiful. And of course, Joshua trees. We had a really good Joshua tree bloom this past spring. Okay, and the Las Vegas bear poppy. It's rare. Okay, they're not all. I think there are like 2 or 3 places in Gold Butte. Okay, and there's mushrooms. I hate mushrooms, so I'm fine with this mushroom. I don't have to bother having Glenn tell me I should eat it because it doesn't taste like anything. Okay, there's keyholes. Thank you, Sharon, for this picture. There's arches, and we've got some arches. Maybe they should name it Arches National Park. Probably not as good as Arches National Park, but we have some arches. We've got some windows. We've got a 3-window rock. And golden hour foreground subjects. Okay, and then there's the night sky. And I love our tortoise crossing, although I've never seen the tortoise out there. Okay, and we have critters. Sharon, I think these 5 are your friends. And here's one thing you never have to worry about Gold Butte. You don't have to worry about a bunch of other photographers being annoying. Because there are none. And here's Tina. She's not here today, but I got her taking a picture of the North Weaver. And we were just walking along and lucked out that we didn't run into it. And there's a tarantula. Everybody loves tarantula. And that's Glenn's glove. And she's pointing to, I don't know.
But I thought that was a good, is it a cat? I'm not sure. Okay, Phainopepala, our favorite bird. And of course, you gotta love these guys. Okay. And then there's snakes. And this little cute guy, we were doing some graffiti remediation one day, and there was a family from Alaska who was camping right by where, and one of their little girls said, "Here, look at this." And there it was down there. I've been back, and every time I go back to that spot, I look, and it's not there, but it was sure cute. It was cute that she found it. Okay, and there's desert tortoise. Evidently, according to Patrick Donnelly from Center for Biodiversity, Gold Butte is really, really healthy with desert tortoise, like 3.3 per acre per square mile or something like that. And all that, and I've still never found one there. Yeah, I don't think we have cameras at GM anymore, but maybe not focus. Yeah. Now, my favorite locations. I love camping at Little Finland. And Michelle, Stan, Russ, been there before. Great spot. There's some sand dunes in there. Great place to sit. No fires though, because we're night sky photographers, right? So we don't have fires. So, but you can. Okay. Little Finland, the Jurassic sandstones. It's just amazing to me how that's been built. And let's see, where are they from? They're from the Jurassic period. So 145 million years ago. And these sand dunes were laid down, and the okay, and the water and wind have been doing their work since then. Okay. Coda Circus is certainly one of my favorite places, and that's one of the secret places.
Yeah.
But they're easy to find. Because anybody in here would go to it and just take pictures, they wouldn't bother things, so. Coda Circus. Okay, Falling Man, of course. Okay, that's kind of the icon for Gold Butte. And it's such an icon that Gwen and I had our front door made Falling Man.
That's awesome.
We got a kid down here who does ironwork, and he does beautiful work. And he did that with a computer. You know, I was expecting just, a little stick man or something. No, I'm looking at the detail on that. He did a great job. Okay, and there's newspaper rock. We looked at that earlier. Okay, that's got so much to decipher on there. Okay, and then there's Doodlebug Arch. So I don't think many people go to Doodlebug Arch. It's interesting. Why do they call it Doodlebug Arch? And who knows what a doodlebug is?
Those black beetles that call around and, no?
Yeah, see, I never knew what it was. And they leave a little round spot in the sand, and then when another bug comes along and falls down or walks down that spot, they jump up and catch them. So that's Doodlebug Arch, and underneath of Doodlebug Arch, there's a lot of doodlebug holes.
There's a lot of them.
Okay, Ambercat Canyon's another little hike that's beautiful. Then there's the Gold Butte town site, and while I like the red rocks and everything, the Gold Butte town site is really interesting with this pre-Cambrian granite. I mean, they're just huge. How do they get all jumbled there? But they're like Dr. Rowland from UNLV told me, they're about 1.7 billion years old. So pretty old, nice place to camp. Okay. And that's one of the Precambrian rocks. For stuff, when I look at that, I see a porpoise asleep, even though I know they couldn't bend their head like that. I don't know what anybody else sees, but that's stuff all over down there. Okay, now my favorite is Kirk's Grotto. Okay, what are your favorite photography locations in Gold Butte? Anybody? Okay, let's speak up. In southern Nevada, let's get out of Gold Butte.
Cold Creek.
Cold Creek. I know that, Darcy. How did I know that? And I bet you like horses too.
Okay, since you're in the area, like I showed earlier, it borders Grand Canyon Parashant National Monument, okay, which is hardly anybody goes to Grand Canyon Parashant, and it's a beautiful place. It's actually a shortcut to the Grand Canyon, the north rim of the Grand Canyon. You can get there. And pay no attention to the sign. There's a sign when you come in that says no direct access to the Grand Canyon. There's a business down there, Arvada Springs, and he was getting tired of digging out rental Mustangs from the sand. They would look at their GPS and see that they could get to the Grand Canyon through that way. So, and you can't have a rental Mustang. So.
Does that take you over to, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. We did a ride out of Mesquite. We left at the school and went out somewhere and they have covered wagons and you can spend the night out there.
Okay, that's Arvada Springs.
No, I think she's talking about Bar 10.
Yeah, Bar 10.
Oh, the Bar 10, yeah, that, okay,
So
yeah.
does that take you there too?
Yes, you can get there that way.
That's a long way to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long way, but a fun way.
That other way was a long way too.
Everything's a long way.
Hey, when we get to this side of the Mississippi River, everything's a long way. There's a ranch down there, the Tassi Ranch, and nobody's there. It's, I guess, the feds bought it out when they had Grand Canyon Parashant National Monument. And it's kind of funny, our dentist, he told me that his granddad owned it, and he would fly him out there to fish and hunt. So I'm not quite sure where they landed, because everywhere we drove, it was rocky as heck. But there's a spring, and it's pretty nice back there. So if anybody's been to Torweep Overlook on the Grand Canyon,
That's where that Bar 10 is kind of.
yeah, Bar 10's on the way there.
Yeah, you just turn right.
Bar
Bar
Yeah.
10's more on the way to Whitmore Overlook though.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you got Whitmore and then Torweep. So
Yeah,
I've never been to Whitmore. Have
Well,
you
we
been to
spent
Whitmore?
the night. We were gonna head to Torwood, but we didn't have enough time to do it and get back. That's like a 9-hour razor ride at 50 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah. And now you know you need a permit
Oh, you do?
to camp at Torweep.
Just a camp.
Oh,
Just go there for the day.
Yeah, you can go there for the day. Yeah, because I always describe Torweep as no rails, no crowds, no pink Jeeps. And my friend is a ranger at North Rim to Grand Canyon said, wrong, that pink Jeep, I guess, now has a tour out to Torweep. So, hoo-hoo. And that's Torweep's great. Unless you have a son who likes to stand on every edge and scare the heck out of you. Love Torweep Overlook. Okay, so as far as resources, it's like any of the Petroglyphs, birdandhike.com, if you know Jim Boone. Okay, birdandhike.com is an excellent resource. And I always wonder how he gets as far as driving somewhere. He gives you like a detailed picture of how to get there. And I've driven with him before, and it's because he stops every 10 minutes and takes a picture. Okay. Also, Friends of Gold View, and also the BLM. Okay. And tomorrow, we're going, I guess we can get together maybe at lunchtime, everybody who's
Hey
going.
Steve, could you get back, because I think some people were trying to copy some of that.
Okay. And if anybody wants this presentation, I'll send it to you. Just give me your email. Let me know. Everybody knows. Okay. So I asked Kippy when she asked me to do this on Worldview, because I do this for Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance. Oh, I have 10 minutes, it's perfect. If I could do desert safety. And she said, okay. So a lot of this is just my Southern Utah Wilderness presentation. But first off, let someone know where you're going and when they can expect you back, and who to contact if you don't return. Okay, review your map. Okay, has anybody used the Venza maps here? If anybody's interested, we use it up in Utah. Really, really good tool. You can do GPS tracks. It'll tell you where you've been, and you can import it into Google Earth. Really kind of fun. Keep your eyes on the road, and watch out for erosion. And remember where you turn, and I'm the worst on this, so it's a good thing I have events and maps, because I'll just turn and I forget where I turned at, so. Carefully avoid trouble. I ran into this guy up in Washington County. Check on current road conditions, and if you go to the Friends of Goldview, you can find it on there. We do have like a quarterly updated road conditions. Road conditions. Check on the weather forecast. If you're unsure, you can contact the BLM office. Monday through Friday at the time. Okay. Inventory your stuff, plenty of water. Make sure you have air for your tires or several spare tires. I carry a spare battery. Spare boots, socks, food, toe strap. I've used the toe strap in Goldview, so. Sleeping bag, just in case you gotta spend the night out. And a comb, and don't ask me about the comb. Because you're sensitive, what the heck do you need a comb for? My wife made me get a spot because I go out there a lot by myself. So if I get stuck, I can push a little button and someone will come save me. So in heat, just in case. Spare batteries, and I always have auxiliary for the cell phone. And that's for events and maps because cell phones don't work out there. So the only reason you would need it is for events and maps. Make sure you bring your camera. Okay, and having your backpack. I'm old. Not everybody here is as old as me. Most of you aren't as old as me. I prepare to be out 3 days with my meds. My health insurance card, just in case you got to scrape me up. Emergency contact information, first aid kit, duct tape. What else? Anybody else? Baling wire. There was two of you that said baling wire.
Zip ties. Shovel.
Zip ties, shovel. We're going to get to the shovel though. Oh, that shovel. Wear long pants or bring hydrogen peroxide. I kick myself every time I wear shorts, but I just do. And yes, be prepared for number 2 in the wilderness. You have 2 options: dig a hole, pack it out. I don't think that's a good option. But then again, I'm getting that age, so I don't say, hey, you should bring your extra translucity or tranquility. Or, and Kippy, don't you dare say anything yet. I know. Okay, so pack it out. That's your options. You can go to REI has a good thing about digging a hole. Okay. Now, having said that, there are places like wilderness areas you must pack it out. Okay, in that case, Kippy has the Biffy bag.
I don't know that I would call it my favorite, but my husband and I went kayaking on the Black Canyon a couple years ago, and you also have to pack it out there. You're not allowed to leave any human waste behind. You're not even allowed to bury it. You have to take it out. So we researched and found these things called Biffy bags. They come in a little silver pouch. I bought a pack of 10 for the group that's going tomorrow. They come with a little bit of toilet paper, a little wipe, a bag that you tie around your waist so that you can squat in the great outdoors. And it has a little powdery substance in it that when it meets with your waist, it turns into a glue and it doesn't have any odor at all. You tie the bag shut and it's biodegradable. You can toss it out when you're done, and they're just a lot nicer than some of the other options. So I bought those cases of those as well.
You're a sweetheart, Kippy. Now, I will say this. There'll be a demo following the function.
Nice of you to volunteer.
Drink plenty of water, but I don't have to tell you guys this. Okay, watch where you step. Yes, watch where you step. Watch where you put your hand. Watch where you sit and take a picture. Okay, and here's where the comb comes in handy. Okay, and I will say on Saturday, I believe it was Saturday, I got to demo this, not on purpose. This was in Panamint Valley. It didn't hurt that much because as soon as I did, I was like, oh, boy, look, yeah, look, we do a demo. So cool. It's worse when it, oh, yeah. Yeah, don't forget hydrogen peroxide.